Making bead creations is so awesome when you have designs just like these, the bead possum. The bead possum is a unique creation and makes the perfect crafty pet, a design that's so fine that you'll make easily with no sweat. These awesome possums are tame, no need to be trained, fit in the palm of your hand and on a keychain. So like I've said before, these possums are great, they're fast, fun, and easy to make. So let's get ready for a tutorial to satisfy your creative needs. Feel free to give this video a like and enjoy this episode of TurboBeads. Here's a list of everything you need to make the bead possum. Before starting this project, I'm just letting you know that I'm using SKD strings made by Pepperell Braiding Company. It's a round plastic lace that has a bit of flexibility to it, and it works great. With that being said, I'm just keeping you informed and just letting you know that this is a personal choice. It's not a sponsored video. Making the bead possum is simple. The first thing you'll need to do is to take 5 feet of string, then you'll match up the ends. Once you've matched up the ends, you're going to create a loop on the other end of the string. Now that we have the loop, we're going to take the 2 match ends of string and we're going to wrap those around the loop, creating a second loop. You'll take those 2 match ends and run through the second loop. Continue pulling the string tight until your loop size is just right. With this visual, you should be able to see that creating this loop and a knot should be as easy as it seems. This is what your knot should look like. At this point, you'll see that we'll have 2 ends of string to create rows for this possum. Next, we'll use those 2 ends of strings to make a row. To make a row, we're going to take 1 end of the string. We'll start out by adding 1 pink bead to that string. Then, you're going to take the other end of string and run it through that bead as well, going in the opposite direction. Once you get both ends of string through that bead, you'll pull both ends of the string evenly until you've reached the top. At this point, we're going to use the straw technique. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to take a straw and split it down the middle by cutting it with scissors. So just continue watching as I carefully cut the straw in half. Splitting the straw down the center will make it easier to add beads to the straw. Basically, what we're doing is using straw as a stabilizer for the rows of beads to keep them straight, aligned, and in place. Once you have that straw split down the center, we're ready to add beads to that straw. So let's go ahead and add 2 white beads to that straw. Continue watching as I add the beads to that straw. Once you have those beads on the straw, you'll carefully cut off the end of the straw, keeping that straw hidden within those beads. As you can see, we have our stabilized row of beads. From here, we're going to take 1 end of the string and add those beads to the string. Next, we'll take our other end of string and run that string through the beads as well, going in the opposite direction. Continue watching as I guide the string to these beads. Once you have that string through both ends of those beads, you'll pull both ends of the string until you've reached the top, bringing all of those beads together. As you can see, creating a row of beads is pretty simple. We'll continue repeating the same steps to make additional rows. Again, we'll take our straw that's been split down the center and we're going to add 3 beads on this straw. We'll have 1 black bead, followed by a white bead, with a black bead on the end. This is what it should look like. Once you have those beads on that straw, you'll cut off the end of that straw, keeping that straw hidden within those beads. From here, we'll take our stabilized row of beads and 1 end of the string and run that string through those beads. Now that we have those beads on that string, we'll take our other end of string and run it through those beads as well, going in the opposite direction. Continue watching as I guide the string through these beads. Once you get that string through both ends of those beads, with both ends of the string coming out of each side, you'll pull both ends of the string until you've reached the top, bringing all of those beads together. With this 3rd row complete, let's create an additional row using the same steps. By taking the straw that's been split down the center and adding 3 white beads to that straw. Once you have those beads on the straw, you're going to carefully cut off the end of that straw, keeping it from showing through the sides. You'll take your stabilized row of beads and 1 end of the string and add those beads to the string. Then, you're going to take your other end of string and run it through those beads as well, going in the opposite direction. Once you get that string through both ends of those beads, you'll pull both ends of the string until you've reached the top, bringing all of those beads together. Once you've reached this point, with the first 4 rows completed, we'll need to create the ears of the possum. To make the ears is pretty simple. What you'll do is you'll take one end of the string and we're going to add 2 black beads to that string. Once you have those black beads on the string, you're going to run those beads toward the top. Using that same end of string, you're going to run that string through the first bead that was added to that string, going in the direction toward the center of the pattern. Continue watching as I guide the string through this bead. Once you get that string through that bead, you're going to hold that bead down and pull the string all the way through until all of the beads come together. This is what it should look like once you've straightened everything out. With this first ear finished, let's create another ear on the other side. Again, we'll take our other end of string and we're going to add 2 black beads to that string. Now that we have those beads on the string, we'll run those beads toward the top. Using that same end of string, we're going to run that string to that first black bead that was added to that string, going in the direction toward the center of the pattern. Continue watching as I guide the string through this bead. Once you get that string through that bead, you'll hold that bead down, pulling that string all the way through until all of the beads come together. This is exactly how it should look so far. With both ears of the pattern finished, we can now go back to the previous steps by using both strings again to create an additional row. This next row will consist of 3 gray beads, of course using the same steps, taking one end of the string through a stabilized row of beads, then taking your other end of string and running it through those beads as well, going in the opposite direction. With both ends of those strings through those beads, pulling both ends of those strings until you've reached the top, bringing all of those beads together. From this point, with this row finished, we're ready to create the arms and paws for this possum. Creating the arms and paws should be pretty simple. What you'll do is you'll take one end of the string and you're going to add a total of 6 beads on that string, starting out with 2 gray beads, followed by a black bead, with 3 pink beads on the end of that string. Now that you have all those beads on the string looking just like this, you'll run those beads toward the top. From here, we're going to use that same end of string and we're going to run it back through the first 3 beads that were added to that string. That's the black bead and the 2 gray beads as you see it here. Watch close as I carefully guide the string through these beads, running that string back toward the pattern. Once you get that string through those beads, what you'll do is you'll hold down those first 3 beads in place, pulling that string all the way through, and all those beads will come together, creating a shape just like this. With the first arm and paw finished, we're ready to create another on the other side using the same steps. Just like we've done before, we're going to take the other end of string and we're going to add a total of 6 beads on that string, starting with 2 gray beads, followed by a black bead, with 3 pink beads on the end of that string. Again, once you have all 6 beads on the string looking just like this, you'll run all of those beads toward the top. Using that same end of string, we're going to run that string through the first 3 beads that were added to the string. Again, that's the black bead and the 2 gray beads. You'll run that string in the direction toward the center of the pattern. Continue watching as I guide the string through these beads. Once you get that string through those beads, be sure to hold down those first 3 beads, pulling that string all the way through, and those 3 beads on the end will come together with the others, making a shape looking just like this. With both arms finished, we're ready to go back to using both ends of the strings again, creating rows that'll make up the body. So just continue repeating the same steps, creating rows, following the pattern as seen at the top of the screen. As you can see, so far making this bead possum is as easy as it seems. This bead design has a unique color scheme with simplistic steps just like the bead lizard, which may be one of my personal favorites. With so many bead pet designs, there are so many to pick. So leave a comment below letting me know what's your favorite bead animal. Once you finish the 10th row, it's time to create the legs. To make the legs, it's just like the arms. We'll take one end of the string and we're going to add a total of 6 beads on that string. Again, we'll start out with 2 gray beads, a black bead, with 3 pink beads on the end of that string. As you can see, we now have those 6 beads on the string looking just like this. From here, you'll run those beads toward the top. Using that same end of string, we're going to run that string back to the first 3 beads that were added to that string. Again, that's the black bead and the 2 gray beads. Continue watching as I carefully guide the string back through these beads toward the center of the pattern. As you get the string through these beads, be sure to hold down the first 3 beads, pulling that string all the way through until everything comes together, giving you the shape of the leg and paws. With this leg finished, we can create another one on the other side. To make the next leg, we'll take the other end of string and add 6 beads to that string. Remember, it's 2 gray beads with a black bead, followed by 3 pink beads on the end of that string. Once you have those 6 beads on the string looking just like this, you'll run those beads toward the top. Like we've done before, using that same end of string, we're going to run that string back through the first 3 beads that were added to the string. Again, that's the black bead and the 2 gray beads here, as you see as I'm guiding the string through. Once you get that string through those beads, ensure that you hold them down, pulling that string all the way through until the beads on the end come together to form the shape of the paw. With the second leg finished, we can go back to using both ends of strings again, creating rows to finish out the tail end of this possum. As you will see from here, the project only gets easier. Once you finish the 11th row, the remaining rows will consist of 6 rows of 1. Once you have finished the 17th row, which is the final bit of the tail, you can now take both ends of string and tie them together, creating a knot which will lock everything into place. When tying your knot, be sure that you tie your knot nice and secure, ensuring that everything is locked into place and holds together. With this visual, you will see that tying the string in the knot is as easy as it seems. Once your knot is tied and those beads are locked into place, you'll carefully cut off the tied loose ends of string, and your bead possum is now complete. And there you have it, another bead pet design that looks fine, that was fun to make. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful and you can create one just as great. If there's anything you would like to add, requests or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you are new or you just haven't already, don't forget that you can always subscribe if you want to be notified for more bead tutorials just like this one. Hoping you'll tune in for the next one to satisfy your creative needs. Until next time, as always, thanks for watching TurboBeads.